Begin again, please. We're starting on
Mr. President,
Mr. O'Brien.
I received during the break a call from a resident, and since we no longer have any rules for public comment, he wanted to phone in a comment. Is that allowed?
Well, it's not that we no longer have any rules, but you have
Oh,
the
could you
comment.
state
You have
the
the
rules?
comment. Please proceed.
Could you state the rule that we are operating under?
We're
I thought
operating-
we disregarded all our rules and have no rules.
Disregard all the rules. I believe I said that I would be conducting the meeting.
Oh, so we are operating under your rules.
Mr. O'Brien.
Why, Mr. O'Brien, why are we continuing with this? What we're trying to do is
Well,
make, now, excuse me, what we are trying to do is make it appropriate for anybody and everybody who wishes to make a comment to make a comment. Do you have the phone comment?
Without it being on the agenda, $3.13 million.
Mrs. Hinthorn, we will be respectful or you will leave. That's the bottom line. This we will not have. I am trying to be respectful to you. You please do the same to us.
Tommy, you let me lead people to believe that you were for honest and open government. I put your campaign literature together. I owe the people of Delaware County an apology. I have told you before, don't embarrass me, and you've done it again.
Thank you. Next,
I'm not finished.
Mrs. Hinthorn, if you're going to shout at us, yes, you are finished. Shouting at us, I will not accept.
Dave, I have pages of...
Mr. O'Brien, can we look forward to you yelling, pounding the table, and in general carrying on the way that you did last Friday at every meeting in the future?
I felt that I behaved appropriately.
As a taxpayer, I'm here to tell you I felt that you did not.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the comment.
Could I have the names of the engineers with whom you spoke this weekend?
I can give that to you. Thank you.
You don't have that.
He basically said he will get it for you. He doesn't have it right at hand.
Okay. Can you each tell me how many calls you received from your constituents regarding this issue between Friday morning and this morning's session?
Mr. Hanks, how many did you get?
I received one email and one phone call between this morning and Friday at close of business.
I believe, and I didn't write them down, but I think I received 3 phone calls total.
I would guess about 14.
Why do you think that you received so many more calls, Mr. O'Brien?
People were very supportive, and they were thanking me.
14 out of 110,000 people in the county. So do you consider that representative?
Are you saying a representative sample?
Yes.
It was a representative sample of those that were supportive.
I'm sure that it was. You seem to not understand from my evaluation the words proprietary technology. Can you explain to me what you think that means?
Well, a proprietor is one who owns. So it's one who owns technology.
So why do you not understand why this company owns proprietary technology that is licensed to them? And why did you not ask that question in the public session? I'm confused about why we're having not an open and clean and positive debate, but what appeared to be an attack on the system and the other 2 commissioners on Friday. I'm confused by that behavior, and I guess that's why I'm asking you these very pointed questions.
Okay. Well, let's backtrack. Are you really referring to Thursday?
Thursday, forgive me.
My concern was with again, not with the technology, it was with the process. I felt that it was being slipped through by me not receiving the contract until 8:32 a.m. It was not on the agenda, and I had a problem with that.
Okay, as a taxpayer, let me ask if I understood the process. This company contacted Commissioner Hanks
I
and
don't
said
know
we
that.
have, excuse me,
We assume You know, they made some contact with somebody.
They made
But
contact with
that
a
would be
member.
helpful to know. Mr.
It
Hanks,
was
were
me.
you the first
There's
one?
no- It was me.
Okay, and when did they first?
No, Mr.
We
O'Brien.
don't need to know that, right? That's not
I have
important.
another question.
We're not going to shout at people.
Yeah, we're not.
That we aren't doing.
And that is, Mr. Hanks, what did you do at that point with the
Upon my
big
first-
idea?
Upon my first consultation with the company,
Mm-hmm.
I went and met with them to find out exactly what they're entitled to and what they were looking at.
And then,
Had a follow-up meeting. And I brought Gus Comstock as well to start integrating the idea that this is a viable, possible solution to our shortcomings. We are, no, I'm not going to get into the
Okay.
government now, I apologize.
so then, at that point, you brought it to the Board of Commissioners in executive
At
session?
the time at which I felt it was appropriate, I brought it towards the board for an open situation to be brought forth so discussion can be had and thoughts and information to be exchanged.
So you have legal counsel present. We know because he stood here on Thursday and said that he found the contract legally sufficient. Those were the words used by the prosecutor's office, legally sufficient. And yet, Mr. O'Brien, you felt it necessary to grandstand on this issue and say that you had not seen it.
That's inflammatory words. I did say that I had not seen it before 8:32.
When did you see it, Mr. Thompson?
I saw it that morning in that forum. I hadn't seen it in a different forum prior to that. And part of the reason, if I remember correctly, and Mr. Hanks, I'm not sure, you gentlemen may correct me on this, because I didn't want to have possession of that prior to it because it is public documentation at that point, and this was a patented private priority or no, I can't say the word.
Yeah, I know that.
It belonged to you folks.
But are
So
you saying?
other than that, what happened, if I recall correctly, Mr. O'Brien, and I may be mistaken, you didn't get a copy of it, I didn't get a copy of it, he didn't get a copy of it. The copy went from your attorney to our attorney to look at the legalities of the contract. And I didn't personally see or handle that contract.
Was it offered to you?
No.
Okay.
And basically, it wasn't
Okay, I
offered to
accept
us
that.
because our attorney told us that it shouldn't happen that way. If I remember correctly, is that right? I believe we were informed that that was not the process that should be followed as far as the contract. And I'm not sure, Mr. O'Brien, except for the fact that at that point it was not sorted out, was not finalized, it was not whatever, and therefore it would automatically be a public record at that point prior to it being
Was that a problem?
ironed out. If it's not complete and you're doing something, if you say, well, why are you doing this? Well, we're not, you didn't done that. I
accept that. I
copy
just
of the
don't see it.
contract.
I just don't see it's a problem, but I accept it.
Oh, I thought you were there when that
I
happened.
had never gotten an offer of a contract, no.
I
They said they had some information that they
approximately
wanted.
15 seconds, and then we must adjourn this, and then we'll come back. We will come back for a finalization from, Mr. Yost, if you're going to be available, we would love to have you respond to what you have heard in this last portion of it, as well as you responding to it, if there are other points here, so that we can get on with either making a decision up or down today, or I'm assuming that we're not looking necessarily to delay it, but I don't know that for a fact either, so I'm not making that assumption. Mrs. Joseph, did you have anything else you wanted to add at this point?
In deference to your bladder, Mr. Thompson, my last question would be, do you feel that you have in any way broken the Sunshine Law on this issue?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Hanks?
No, ma'am.
Mr. O'Brien?
No.
All right. Thank you so much, and we will take a 5-minute recess because I am in need. No, I am not, because I allowed you to speak as well, right?
No, you should.